everybody? Welcome to Capital of Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Roger Rowe.
And today we're going to preview this Saturday's big one. The swan song of Floyd Money Mayweather taking on Mayweather-Berto.
Number 49.
Yes. But before we get into all of that, we have an absolutely stacked fight week for you. Well, not us, but there's a lot of fights going on this week. Tuesday, you got fights on Fox Sports 1 with Austin Trout in the main event versus Joey Hernandez.
Boom.
You've got Thursday, Zab Judah's fighting, and we couldn't figure out if that was televised or not. One site said it was, one site said it wasn't. But Zab Judah is fighting. Friday night, you've got two cards on True TV and Spike TV, one of which we covered, which was the Adonis Stevenson-Tommy Karpency fight. So check that video out. Then you have Chris Avalos fighting on True TV, and as well you have
Jesse Hart and Mike Reed.
Yes, in separate fights. All those guys are being showcased through Top Rank. So on Saturday, you have on NBC in the middle of the afternoon, 4 p.m. You got Peter Quillen fighting
Michael Zarafa,
which should not last long. Should give you a good little appetite for knockouts early on in the afternoon, get you started for the big fight. Also on that card is Cornelius Bundres versus Jamal Charlo,
which should actually be a good fight because both of them are aggressive, but we're looking for Charlo to win this one.
We're expecting Charlo to win that one and win it big. Whether he knocks him out or not is the question, because I think the skill level is too vast between those two guys, and the age
and height and a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah, Charlo has all the advantages, so he's got to go out there and dominate. Main event night, Saturday night, you got Vanes Martirosyan versus Ishe Smith. You've got Jonathan Akendo versus it's not Salido.
No.
It's
we just talked about it.
It's a 5-fight card, isn't it?
Wait. Johnny Gonzalez.
Johnny Gonzalez. There we go. And that's gonna be a good fight too.
Yeah, it's lack of defense. That's what we're gonna say.
Lots of punches to the face. People like that stuff, especially when you get in a Mayweather fight where one guy isn't getting punched in the face, and that's Mayweather. Also on that card, we've got
Badou Jack versus George Groves,
which could be the fight of the night.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting fight because Badou Jack he's taking some step up in competition. He beat Anthony Durrell for the belt. But he lost. His only loss is to Finley.
No, it's not Derek Finley. It was a journeyman that knocked him out in the first round.
Right.
And then I think Andre Durrell fought him after that and pretty much beat him pretty bad.
Right. And then we had
Derek Ennis. No. Marcus Edwards.
It was one of the two.
Okay. That's neither here nor there.
But he has come back big. He has a belt in a really good fight, which I believe he was the underdog in. And now he's going to try to make this statement win versus George Groves, who we know his only two losses are to the same future Hall of Famer and Carl Froch.
Yeah. And Groves beat James DeGale, who just beat Andre Durrell as well.
That's right.
So we've got some guys who have fought some guys who are fighting each other
in a stacked division.
Yes. That is going to be one to see. Now, in this one, I believe Groves has the faster hands and a little bit more awkward style-wise.
Yeah, he tends to, if I can do this right, tends to hunch over, and he doesn't really keep his hands up. So it's just hunched over in that frenetic style where he's kind of very wide stance can be very tiresome. So we don't know how. I think he was actually tiring in the two Froch fights when it came to the middle round. So we're going to see how he adjusts, if he adjusts.
Right. And then Jack, who comes behind the guard, looks very fundamental in his stance. Decent hand speed, okay power, digs to the body very well, which is going to be very, very paramount against Groves, because I think the first few rounds, as he did with Carl Froch, he's going to be putting some leather on Badu Jack.
Oh yeah, he's gonna throw a lot of punches in those first 3-4 rounds.
Yeah, and now with Jack being knocked out in the first round, and I think he's been hurt before by other fighters, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he has no chin. But you have to remember, when you're getting punched in the face, it's all a matter of pretty much precision, whether you can knock somebody out or not. And if you get hit in the right spot, that's all it takes.
And look at his record. George Groves doesn't have a lot of knockouts. I'm not saying he doesn't have the power, but he's not knocking anyone out.
Yeah, he's not knocking. He did hurt Carl Froch bad in that first fight. And that was early on in the fight.
That's right.
You see the pattern here. This fight is going to be very interesting early. And if Badu Jack can keep the pressure on Groves, work the body well, and just stay in the fight, I think he can pull it out late on a decision. Now, if it ends early, I'm thinking Groves. I think, if he does happen to catch Badu Jack early.
Or overwhelm him.
Yeah. I think the problem that Jack has was he doesn't react well once he's hurt. A lot of guys will hold, or they will strategically fight back or move. That's where Badu Jack gets in trouble. He hasn't quite learned how to weather the storm and get out of being hurt well enough to survive someone like George Groves if he gets hurt. So if he gets hurt by Groves early, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But if he can get through, not get hit too cleanly, or expose his chin, which he sometimes tends to do, which is weird because he has that high guard, he can make it an interesting fight late. So that's how we're going with that fight. Smith Martirosyan, that one's going to be a very ugly fight. I'm going to be honest with you. Even though I'm a fan of Ishe Smith, I think I'm more a fan of him as a person than as a fighter. I've never seen him in a real exciting fight.
Well, not even exciting. I just think Martirosyan he's going to be more aggressive. Ishe Smith is going to be the counter puncher, but
as usual.
But he doesn't, to me, throw enough punches, and he really doesn't have the power, I don't think, to keep Martirosyan off of him.
Yeah, which is going to mean a lot of clinches. And
so
that's going to make for a long fight, especially I think this one's opening up the card.
If you can make it through this fight, you'll be pleasantly surprised, hopefully, with the second and third and fourth fight before the main event. Because in fight before the main event, it's going to be Roman Martinez versus Orlando Salido.
No, I think Gonzalez and Oquendo is the co-main, but the one you mentioned before that is also a good fight. Orlando Salido is as tough as they come.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys that grinds you out. He's a swarmer. He's a high-volume brawler. He can throw odd punches. He can get rough with you. And it's up to... There's so many fights on the card. I am getting confused. Also, I just finished being on the road for 28 hours. I'm a little tired.
Roman Martinez. I just want to make sure I did right.
Yeah. Martinez is a good fighter as well, but this is a big test for him. So we're going to find out if he can pass that test against someone as tough as Salido, because he gave Lomachenko all he could handle.
Right.
And he actually beat Lomachenko. So Salido is no slouch. And then with Johnny Gonzalez, as he showed with Abner Mares, when you can punch, you're never out of the fight.
Now, with him, can he take the punch? I think this is going to be one of those fights to say, who can take whose punch better?
Yeah, and for longer. Because Gonzalez, he's been around for a while. He's got some veteran savvy. and when he is hurt, he has a tendency to be able to recover at least a little bit. That was not the case against Gary Russell. Well, actually, he did a little bit, and then Russell just poured it on a little bit more and finished him. But I think banking on that is why they made this fight, because they think that Martinez, Okendo, I'm sorry,
yeah,
will be able to get Gonzalez out of there in a showcase fashion. But it's dangerous enough that if he falls asleep for just a little while, he can be put to sleep. So that's what you're watching in that fight. Let's talk about the main event.
All right, time to loosen up. Let's do this.
All right. Mayweather, final fight, final opponent, Mayweather-Berto. We're going to be honest. A lot of people aren't really too enthused about this fight.
Wasn't expecting him to choose Berto.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. We're not even going to get into his reasoning because we're not in his head. We're not Floyd Mayweather. It's whatever. We're fans. We're going to watch the fight anyway. Might not pay for it, but we're going to find some way to watch it. You are too. I mean, you wouldn't even be watching us if that wasn't the case. Thank you for watching us, but you're going to watch this fight. Now with Berto, we've got a guy who has very fast hands, okay power, some big defensive deficiencies. Especially as of late, he's been trying to emulate the shoulder roll defense to no success.
Well, I would say he tried it once, it didn't work, so he went more traditional.
I've seen him do it several times. Yeah.
I don't think it's something that he relies on as much as he tried in one of his fights.
Oh yeah, definitely. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, everyone can use it from time to time, but it's not like Mayweather where it's like, yeah, I'm going to use this for 75% of the fight.
Right. Or James Toney, who uses it 100% of the fight.
Exactly.
We did a video on that. But
check it out.
And in Mayweather, we know what we're going to get. The question is, what are we going to get when these two guys get together? Now, there's a few things I have some theories on that I'm going to talk about. One is Berto being like this close away from a Mayweather fight for a few years. I think Mayweather has wanted this fight for a while, and because Berto would just lose that fight that he was on the cusp of getting the fight anyway for, it messed it up. Now with Mayweather being in his final fight, he's like, F it, I don't care. I've been wanting to fight Berto, so I'm going to fight Berto. Secondly, in those fights that he lost, Victor Ortiz, Robert Guerrero, Soto Carras, he was hurt very badly, knocked down quite a few times. I think Mayweather sees this, smells blood, wants to go for a knockout. Now we know that's really not in his nature to do so, but I think he is going to try this time, which could get very interesting because Berto has a very, very good counter right uppercut, and he may be able to walk Floyd into it, maybe twice.
And with Berto, with that uppercut, I've also seen him throw the uppercut and come right back with the overhand right.
Yes, he's very good with that. It looks very flashy. It's very fast. It's probably his best combination. And like I said, he can probably land it twice on Mayweather before he takes it from him.
Yeah. And let's not forget, Berto's a really tough guy and he has a lot of pride. He almost beat Soto Carras with one arm. He literally
fought from like the second or third round on with a torn shoulder or something like that.
Torn right shoulder. He was fighting with a left hand and was still ripping uppercuts and left hooks and anything he could with his left. But he was a 1 hour fight against a tough SOB and Soto Carras, and that ended in a 12th round TKO.
Yeah. So, like we were saying, I think Mayweather sees that, wants to give the fans of his a knockout in his final fight. He's also done something different where he's allowed his sparring footage to be shown. He let the cameras go during his last media day. He did his thing. There's been the urban legends about how hard he spars, so now people got to see it for the first time. And looks as if he is really going hard. I mean, he always does. Let's not, say he doesn't go hard. I mean, this guy, the reason he is as good as he is because he trains so hard.
That's right.
As far as legacy goes, this really it's already done. So it's just, this is like icing on the cake for him. If you feel differently, that's your opinion, to which you're entitled, because really that's all it is when you start talking about all that stuff anyway. So we're looking for Mayweather to go out there and establish his will, try to break Berto down and stop him. Can he do it? Is the story of the fight. We're not sure. Those guys that did do what they did to Berto fight a lot differently than Floyd Mayweather.
That's right.
But Mayweather has shown that he is an all-around fighter and he can do several things. So he may be able to just employ that style, get Berto out of there, and send everybody home happy. Let's find out. You got anything you want to add?
Nothing else. I just think Mayweather does a lot of stuff better than Berto does. He has greater defensive reflexes. He has greater footwork. I don't think Berto's that really fleet of foot, especially if you're going to try to close the distance versus Mayweather. He's going to have to bring something that we just have not seen him do under Virgil Hunter or anyone else.
Yeah.
I think because Berto doesn't have almost any head movement, not saying he doesn't, but against a guy like Mayweather, who is probably one of the fastest for one punch, especially with a jab or to the body, it's just he knows how to win 7 to 9 rounds easy. Yeah. That's just what he does. So he's going to gauge the whole thing, see what he can do in there. If he finds that he can knock him out, he'll go for the knockout. He tends to do this thing where he whips a looping right, especially anyone who comes in with the hot guard.
Yeah, and once if they don't go, then he's like, okay, I'll just rack up points. If they do get hurt, he keeps pouring it on. So that's what we're looking to see. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on any of our platforms: Capital Combat, Instagram, Facebook, Google+, email. You can find us all at Capital Combat. The email is capitalcombat@gmail.com. Like this video if you haven't subscribed, and we'll catch you guys for the recap following the fight. That's it from us. Peace.
This is round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire, I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage, keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane, I told them I don't play, I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.